Hey everyone, and a really warm welcome. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today. We're going to explore a beautiful, classic tale that carries this incredibly timeless message. It's a story about simple village life, a totally unexpected encounter, and honestly, the sheer power of compassion. So get comfortable and let's unravel this amazing journey together in today's explainer. Okay, let's dive right into this with a question that philosophers, scientists, and storytellers have basically debated for centuries. Can animals be true friends to humans? I mean, is it just instinct? Or is there a genuine, deep emotional bond there? As we go through this, I want you to just keep that thought in the back of your mind. We're going to examine the evidence presented in our source narrative to see exactly how a bond of true friendship and mutual survival can bridge that gap between man and nature. Part 1. Ramu Baba's Loneliness, A Life of Solitude.
So, our protagonist, Ramu Baba, was a simple, kind-hearted old man. He lived entirely alone in this beautiful but incredibly quiet village. The source text paints a picture of a guy who literally had no one in this world. No family, no close companions to just sit and share a meal with at the end of a really long day. Just his small hut and the vast, silent nature surrounding him. I want you to really feel that solitude for a second. The quiet routine of waking up alone, working alone, and sleeping alone. It's a heavy emotional weight, but, it perfectly sets up the massive transformation that's about to occur right outside his front door.
Moving on to Part 2, the first meeting with Chiku, a rescue in the forest. It all began with him just sitting peacefully outside his hut when he heard this soft groaning coming from a nearby tree. His curiosity and, honestly, his innate kindness led him to investigate. And what he found was a tiny, injured baby monkey with a badly hurt leg. Now, he didn't just leave it to nature, right? He brought the little creature into his home, essentially breaking his own solitude for the first time, and gently applied medicine to the wound. Finally, he fed the little guy some sweet bananas. In these really simple actions, we're seeing a total masterclass in unconditional compassion. Ramu Bodha had very little himself, but he freely gave what he had to a creature in distress. Part 3, a unique friendship and help, building an unbreakable bond. And this brilliantly illustrates the turning point of the story. The monkey, who Ramu Baba named Chiku, fully recovered, but instead of just disappearing back into the wild jungle, Chiku made a choice. He decided to stay. Before Chiku showed up, Ramu Baba's life was a harsh, grueling existence. It was lonely, he was exhausted, and he struggled every single day to gather enough dry wood from the forest just to sell at the market and barely survive. But with Chiku, the burden was suddenly cut in half. They shared this joyful companionship that was actually incredibly practical. Chiku, with his natural agility, would climb way up into the trees and drop the dry branches down to Ramu Baba. They became this perfect, well-oiled team. Now, this bond didn't just happen overnight. It started with a sudden moment of crisis and rescue, which naturally led to a period of healing and trust-building inside that quiet little hut. That quickly blossomed into real companionship, finally filling the void of Ramu Baba's loneliness. And ultimately, it evolved into a true partnership out in the forest. This wasn't just a pet relying on an owner. No, this was a symbiotic relationship where both individuals actively contributed to each other's well-being and survival. It's just a beautiful progression to see.
Which brings us to Part 4, The Thief's Attack. Danger under the banyan tree.
Picture the scene. It's a hot afternoon. Ramu Baba, totally exhausted from a long morning of gathering wood, finds a cool, shady spot under a massive, dense banyan tree. He feels safe, so he falls into a deep, heavy sleep. Above him, sitting vigilantly on a nearby branch, is Chiku, silently guarding his human friend. It's a picture of total peace, but lurking in the shadows, someone else is watching. An infamous village thief spots the vulnerable old man. He zeroes right in on the small bundle of money resting next to Ramu Baba, money that literally represents days of backbreaking labor selling wood. Seeing an easy target, the thief creeps forward silently, step by careful step, reaching out his hand to steal the old man's entire livelihood. Ramu Baba is completely defenseless, fast asleep. Suddenly, kitch kitch, ow! The silence is violently broken. With a terrifying screech, Chinku launches himself from the branches directly onto the thief's face. I mean, he doesn't hesitate for a single second. Driven by pure protective instinct, the little monkey uses his sharp nails to fiercely scratch and bite the attacker. The element of surprise is absolute, and in a flash, the hunter instantly becomes the hunted.
Part 5, Chiku's Loyalty, the Hero of the Village. Things escalated immediately from there. The thief, completely overwhelmed and terrified by Chiku's fierce attack, screamed in intense pain, which obviously jolted Ramu Baba wide awake. The commotion was so loud that villagers working in the nearby fields actually heard it and came rushing in armed with sticks. Trapped and totally battered, the thief was swiftly apprehended by the villagers and promptly handed straight over to the police. The entire threat was neutralized, all thanks to a small monkey on a branch.
When the dust finally settled, the reality of what had just happened really hit Ramu Baba. With tears welling in his eyes, he pulled Chiku into a deep embrace. He realized, in that profoundly heavy moment, that this little animal hadn't just helped him pick up wood. No, Chiku had literally risked his own life against a much larger, very dangerous human to protect his friend and his friend's livelihood. It is the absolute ultimate display of reciprocal love. The man saved the monkey's life, and the monkey returned the favor when it mattered most.
Part 6, the moral of the story, the ultimate takeaway.
Those who give love to animals receive their loyalty and love, often greater than their own lives, in return. It's such a powerful statement about compassion and the hidden emotional depths of the natural world. It really proves that kindness is this universal language, understood perfectly by those who cannot speak a single human word. From that day on, the entire village praised Chiku's incredible intelligence and bravery. And Ramu Baba? He was never alone again. The crushing silence of his small hut was permanently replaced with the joyful energy of a companion. He didn't just have a pet. He had found a son, a fierce protector, and a true, unwavering friend in Chiku. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a thought to reflect on. Have you ever experienced a moment where an animal showed you true, undeniable loyalty? Think about your own pets, or maybe animals you've encountered in your life. Perhaps there's a whole lot more going on behind those eyes than we often realize. Thank you so much for joining me today and for exploring this wonderful tale of Ramu Baba and Chiku. Keep learning, keep asking great questions, and I will see you in the next explainer.